Okay, we're live. Testing, testing. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn placeholder joke. Here. Wait, let me do it again. Let me do it again. Because it's not going to make as much sense when you're listening. Let me just try it one more time. Testing, testing. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn space for a joke. Here.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I'm one of your hosts, Corey Pepper. I'm here with my friend, Paul Packler. How are you, Paul Packler?
I'm great. I'm so miserable. My heart is broken, and this episode didn't help. That's it. That's all I got.
Yeah, and so we want to read the credits, and we could just end it right there.
You would like that, wouldn't you?
Oh man,
Scott's not here because he hates us.
Well, he's got a life, and we don't. So that's what's going on. And this episode is tired and lazy, and it covers no new ground. And it's sort of kind of an agonizing half-hour slog, isn't it?
Truly, truly a slog. This is like a repurposed Mallory Skippy episode, but now for Jennifer and a kid that looks like Skippy.
And then they continue. You continue to wonder, or I continue to wonder, how Elise and Stephen Keaton, two children of the 60s, who preached peace and love and understanding and forward thinking, how they raised the three most shallow children on the face of the planet.
We had to come from somewhere, us Gen X / millennials.
I guess, but boy, this episode just beats us. It also features a scene that I wrote down, maybe the longest scene they've ever had on Family Ties, a scene that just went on in the middle of the show, went on forever. It was like I had to stop it and thought, did I miss a scene change? Nope, didn't miss the scene change. It just
went
on.
I don't even remember what it was. I tried to block everything out.
The thing that stood out to me the most in the positive way on this show is Mallory's new hair color.
It's great. Her hair looks great. I love the cut down to the shoulders.
Yeah, and it was sort of reddish highlights in this one. She just looked terrific. It was really good.
And Michael J. Fox's hair looked good. Even though it was a mullet, it was a lot less severe.
It was a mullet, and he was deeply tan, almost orange.
It's true. But let's not talk too much about people who are orange. It will break my heart.
Oh, my Lord. We open this episode entitled Dream Date, which is episode 6 of season 6. Is that right? 6?
No, episode 5.
5. Okay, so it's not the sign of the devil yet. Next time will be 6.
So close.
Yeah. We open with Andy and Alex reading what I'm sure we each had the I Love Republican pop-up book.
Oh, Corey, you broke up there. What were you saying? I'm sorry.
It was they opened with Alex and Andy sitting side by side reading the I Love Republican pop-up book.
Oh, remember the 80s back when white people could pretend that Republicans weren't evil, but they were.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They name drop the Secretary of State, George Shultz, and I didn't know who that was, so I did a quick cursory Wikipedia search. And I just want to say this one thing about George Shultz. He worked as the Secretary of Labor under Nixon, and he was the Secretary of State under Reagan from 82 to 89. He was a type of Republican that you just don't see anymore. He helped usher in the Philadelphia Plan, which was racial quotas in federal hiring practices. So, he did that during Nixon. That's amazing. That's a great thing. And then he, under Reagan, said to Reagan, that he should talk to the Soviets, and he helped do, what is it called, Glasnost or Perestroika, whichever one of that. He helped that thing happen.
Detente?
Yes, yes. And then he also said that Reagan shouldn't get involved with the Sandinistas, which is what led to, when Reagan did do that, the Iran-Contra.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So George Shultz, I just want to give a shout out to as a seemingly good guy.
Nice to know. We don't have many Republicans fighting for racial equality these days.
No, quite the opposite.
Right, the opposite. And they're interrupted. Andy and Alex are interrupted by Jennifer running in, and she has with her pet hare.
Although I'll say, by the time she goes to the dance and everything, Jennifer looks very cute. I thought her hair was great, and that dress looked really good on her. I thought she looked fantastic. No,
I want to talk about it's the elephant in the room, and I gotta say it. And look, I just when Jennifer, as played by Tina Yothers, at the age of 14 in this episode, maybe 15.
Sure.
And she talks in shallow terms about, oh, that hunk, and that hunk won't look at me. And I love it when a hunk smiles at me. And she has this little chirpy, girly talks with Mallory about cute boys and stuff. And here's the elephant in the room. She's not attractive.
Well, I mean, she's not as conventionally attractive as like the model type girl or woman. That's true.
She's in a relatively awkward phase.
That's true.
I understand her hair and her makeup and that look of trying to look older is totally age appropriate for 86, 87. So I've got no issues with that. But they pretend a lot of the times like Jennifer is some sort of hot model. And she's not.
Yeah, I mean, Jennifer as a character on Family Ties has been shortchanged in so many different ways from day one.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like they just never knew what to do with her. They didn't know what to do with her when she was a cute kid. They don't know especially what to do with her now that she's an awkward teen. And that's the thing about TV and casting kids. They're going to grow up and they might not be as cute as they were when they were kids.
Funny story on the show that Logan does on American Housewife, the kid who plays his best friend, he last year had not reached puberty. So during their 4-month hiatus, he returned, and on the very first day, the producer says hi, gives him a hug and says hi to him, and realizes, holy shit, the kid grew 6 inches over 4 months, and his voice totally changed. And it was like, oh my God, you reached puberty. And his mom said to the producer, well, Kenny, when you hire a 13-year-old boy in the first year of a television comedy, you sort of gotta kind of expect some changes to occur over the next few years. There's going to be a bunch of changes coming up. So at 13, if the show lasted, say, 7 years, as you hope and pray a television show will, you're going to start at 13, but you're going to end at 20. And that's a big difference.
Yes, very much so.
So, and by the way, P.S., they immediately went back to the room and wrote a couple of lines in about how come, if I remember correctly, last year my baby used to sing in the soprano section. How come now he's in the baritones? I had to acknowledge verbally that something had changed.
Oh, of course. There's a great episode of The Wonder Years where one of the characters goes, no, maybe it's Kevin, where Kevin's voice changes and he's in the choir and he's singing and he's the one that does the really high note, or it's a different kid, who knows. And then at the big climactic moment of the episode when they're going to States to sing, and that's, and that's it.
Well,
it's a great episode.
I love the Wonder Years. Terrific show.
So ultimately, what I'll say is Jennifer, as a character, has always been shortchanged. And when, it's a tough thing to go through puberty when you're not on TV in front of millions of people.
It's really tough to do it in front of millions of people every week.
And I just don't. It's the producer and the creator and the writer's fault for not treating her with more respect.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and giving her character stuff to do.
Exactly. You're right. She arrives at home with her friend Simon in tow, carrying her books for her. And Simon is your classic sitcom nerd. And he calls himself a nerd on about his third line of dialogue. He says, "Is it because I'm a nerd?"
And what's funny about him is like the guy in Revenge of the Nerds. I forget his name. The one, the main guy. What's his name?
The actor's name?
He's the brother. Yeah.
Robert Carradine?
That's it. Carradine. Right. Where he's like actually good looking, but he has my glasses on.
Yeah.
You're just like, you're not a nerd.
Nah, he's not really a nerd. He loves Jennifer. Yeah.
What's that?
I said he's in love with Jennifer.
Yeah. And so that's a problem, is that just like with Skippy, this guy is not taking no for an answer. And it's played for laughs, but watching it today, it's like, this isn't cool.
And that's where you said it before. Second time you said it, I got to point it out. This is basically a Mallory and Skippy episode written for Jennifer and Simon.
Mm-hmm.
No difference, except we get way too much of Simon in this episode, and thank God we won't see him again, I'm hoping.
Two things. I thought he was a really good actor. Did you not think so?
Yeah, I thought it was sort of obvious. Everything he did was obvious to me. I think they just gave him all this obvious stuff to do. The walking through the door twice. I didn't think he played that particularly well physically. I thought it was very obvious what he was doing. It just didn't look good.
Okay. The other thing is he is coming back, Corey. He's coming back for one more episode.
Yeah. The minute I said it, I looked at you and I thought to myself, I just screwed that one up. He's back. He's going to be coming back.
He would have been if you hadn't said anything.
Yep. And Jennifer's trying to get rid of him, and he just wants to stick around. And he's brought gifts for Jennifer. He's stolen from his mother her diamond earrings and her diamond brooch. And then
Alex starts ragging on Jennifer to be like, you should go out with him. Look at all the stuff he brought you. And it's just like, ugh, this is bad news.
Mm-hmm. And he ultimately, what Alex wants is what Simon wants is he wants Jennifer to go to the sophomore dance with him. And apparently she's a freshman. He's a sophomore, but everyone wants to go to the dance the year above them. So she wants to go to the sophomore dance, but the reason she wants to go to the sophomore dance is because she has a crush on Roger, the hunk.
And so this episode becomes, or this whole plot line, because it just drags on until it ends, is that she is going to manipulate Simon to take her to the dance, and then when she gets there, she's going to drop him like a bad habit and go throw herself at Roger.
It's such a flimsy house of cards they've built for themselves.
And they take 19 minutes to set it up, and then they get to the dance, and you're just like, all right, here we are. But it takes so long. Like, there's the whole scene with Alex and her in the living room, and they're talking about Santa Claus. And
oh, man, that's the scene that I said is the longest scene I've ever seen in my life. That's the scene that goes on forever, and it meanders into areas that you don't think it's going to go to, and there's no payoff for it.
Yeah, at a certain point, Alex P. Keaton does a dialectic of Santa Claus working for corporations, i.e. Mattel, and you're just like, what is this monologue that's happening?
It goes on for a significant period of time, and I don't understand it. I'll admit, I didn't pay a lot of attention to it. I sort of kind of tuned it out because it was going on for so long. All I wrote was long scene.
Yeah. And then he gets to a point where he's like, ta-da, and then Jennifer's like, yeah, well, but the thing is, Alex, and I don't know if you were paying attention at this point, but she goes, Santa Claus, spoiler alert,
Oh, okay, here we
isn't
go.
real. Spoiler, Santa Claus isn't real. And Alex
now,
does.
but Alex acts like he's mentally impaired at this point, doesn't he?
He's 22 years old and he thinks Santa Claus is real.
Okay, you got it the same way I did. He's mentally impaired if you're 22 and you're still believing in Santa Claus and you're in college. I think you have a reasonable expectation that there's something wrong with this person.
I mean, he does live at home while he's in college.
Is it possible he really does think that? I don't know. This whole thing, it got so weird, that whole Santa Claus scene. Hey, writers. And then at the end of the scene, we find out Alex still believes in Santa.
Yeah, he goes, she's like, I'm sorry, Alex. And he goes marching up the stairs and he has like a moment where he's going to give a punchline that would end the scene. And it's totally whiffed. The writers totally whiffed the punchline. Then it goes over to Jennifer and she says something, and then the camera pans up to Alex at the top of the landing, and he gets a second swing of the bat at a punchline, and that doesn't work either. So neither opportunity did the writers ever go back and rewrite this non-joke. And that happens throughout the episode.
Right. Earlier in the scene, we find out that Jennifer is down. We also find out that Jennifer is probably at the most shallow stage of her life. As you said, they've miswritten her for years, and they've decided in moments like this, we turn her into sort of a shallow bimbo. You know how like they've always given Mallory this sort of shallow side, but it's been real. Well, they take the realness and they throw that out the window for her, and they just create sort of like a valley girl shallowness to her.
Right.
Where I just want to go out with a hunk. I just want a hunk. Really? You don't want somebody who you like? You don't want a friend? I just want someone who smiles at me and is a hunk. And then she and Mallory have these uncomfortable scenes. There were two of them in this episode where they get really girly with each other. She tells Alex that she's gotta go, and he suggests that she go to the dance, and he suggests that she crashes the dance.
See, this is one of those points where I was tuning out. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, and then there's some long-winded joke about Alex only liking things that are tax-free.
You know what? I don't understand, because right now, no, I can't get into it, Corey, but I don't understand this antipathy that like a lot of people have toward taxes. What the fuck is wrong with you?
If we don't have taxes,
you're a citizen in a country. Pay the fucking taxes. You like roads? You like being able to eat food that isn't poisoned or drink water that isn't poisoned?
That's what taxes pay for.
Oh, Jesus Christ! You know what? Oh, this is quality time with Family Ties. What are we doing, Corey? What am I doing? What am I doing?
You're railing against taxes, or you're railing for taxes.
We're going to cut all this out. We're cutting all this out.
Oh, Lord.
My whole life, this has been my whole life, that Ronald Reagan has imbued our country with this anti-tax cult. Fuck you, Ronald Reagan.
There's nothing wrong with paying a little bit in taxes.
You're a citizen. Pay it. I'm sorry, cut it out. Bryant, cut all this out.
Bryant, leave it all in. Leave it all in. Let America hear the real Paul Packler. Go ahead.
I can't.
Paul, don't let society bring you down. It's a rotten world out there, and we get to watch Family Ties.
I know. You know what? We have freedom to watch Family Ties.
That's right. You know, in Russia, they're not sitting around reviewing, Family Ties.
No, I don't know what they're doing. Probably something a lot more fun. They're working in troll farms.
They're hacking into our elections is what they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we get in this scene, by the way, Alex and Jennifer have a very in-depth conversation about manipulating people, and Alex advises Jennifer that it's okay to manipulate people. It's a good way to go.
Why would you ever take that advice?
Right? Why would you ever give that advice? Go ahead and manipulate people.
What's going on? What is this family? This family has like a rot inside it.
And this is where it goes into Santa land, where we talk about Santa being a pawn in the corporate landscape of America.
Let's just skip past this scene. We covered everything. Let's just skip past it.
Well, we're there. We're at the end of the scene, and somehow or another, it goes from what Alex says. Oh, Alex's punchline, his second punchline. After she says there is no Santa Claus, and he says, "I hate when people say that."
So he's heard it before.
he's heard it before. He's 22.
And he's papered over it. He's papered over that wound. He's been like, no, Alex. He like goes home and he's like, no. He looks at himself in the mirror and he's like slapping his face. He's like, he's real.
Not true.
Who brought you that Tonka truck?
Santa. Santa did.
Oh,
you can do it. And somehow we end the scene with "Hello, Simon," and I'm not sure why. Why did I write down "Hello, Simon"?
I guess Simon comes over at a certain point, and she says, "You know what? We are gonna go."
Okay, right. And it's, "Hello, Simon," and then we're all of a sudden we're sort of in another scene. I think is that the act break there too.
I want to say yes.
The act break was very non-distinct watching it on Amazon the way I watch it. I couldn't quite tell where it was.
Yeah, there wasn't a real like punchline again or like a dramatic moment or anything.
Nope, neither.
All right, so on that note,
neither one.
We'll be right back. And we're back. Now, Corey, I have a question. See what you think of this. This episode, as I said, politically, in the sense of like dating and romance and stuff like that, and how women are mistreated and stuff like that, expectations of romance from men of women. This episode's problematic in the parlance of our times. In the episode, they want us to feel bad for Simon, which is interesting. Like, they try to make it that Mallory is such a, like you were saying, she's shallow. She's taking advantage of Simon's feelings for her and stuff like that. So really, in this whole episode, you really don't feel good or bad for anybody. You feel bad for everybody, and you don't like anybody.
That's right. You sort of feel bad that Simon is sort of being treated so badly, but Simon treats himself pretty badly as well.
Mm-hmm. And he treats Jennifer badly because he doesn't leave her alone when she asks to be.
Right. It's sort of disrespectful when someone says, "Leave me alone," not to leave them alone.
Yes.
We open the second act with Jennifer bringing down her dress.
And so is this where Mallory sees it for the first time or where she's wearing it?
Yeah, this is where Mallory sees it for the first time. We sort of get this joke twice, don't we?
I don't get it the second time, but I kind of get it the first time.
I mean, but we receive the joke twice. They just play the same joke twice in the episode. I'm not sure why they did it twice, but they sort of turned Mallory into like a narrator or an announcer at a runway show.
Like, she eyeballs this dress and knows exactly what it is.
This is from 1964, and it's a pre-Elizabethan era, beautiful Chenet costume made with beautiful brocaded, whatever it is. She narrates the whole thing.
Stop, Corey. Did you commit that to memory? That was amazing.
No, I improvised that. That's,
wow.
That's the kind of guy I am. Just didn't make any sense. It was Project Runway gibberish.
Well, you made it work.
Make it work. It was a make it work moment for me. Who starts calling her Anthony Quinn? That she looks like Zorba.
Oh, that was a moment when, because again, this thing gets played out for so long. She says to mom and dad that she is going to the dance, the sophomore dance, and they're like, "Oh, so who did you end up going with?" And she goes, Anthony Quinn, and Steven goes, Zorba?
That's the joke.
Great joke, guys. Top-notch joke.
And then why are you crashing the dance? And she says, because Alex told me to. And then Simon comes in, and she said, well, do you think Simon knows the truth about? Yeah, I think Simon knows exactly the real reason why I'm going. And boom, who comes into the room but Simon holding a wedding cake?
Man, oh man. So he stopped and he got a wedding cake. Again, we don't like Simon. We don't like Jennifer. And he is pouring it on real thick.
I'll give you my favorite Simon line, though, because he said it twice. They didn't do it a third time. But the who's the guy question that he asks with paranoia worked both times.
Yeah, because he does it at the top of the episode with Alex.
Alex, and the way he says it, he's in Jennifer's home, and he words it like there's competition for him.
Yes.
Without making the assumption it's a male family member.
It is. It's a little absurdist, and I did enjoy it.
Right. But especially the second time, it sort of hit me by surprise. The second time, it was like, who's the guy? And it's like, oh, come on, that's got to be her father. You're not going to assume that the older gentleman is her father?
Yes, this guy with salt and pepper hair is dating Jennifer. Yes. He's taking her to the sophomore dance.
Sitting comfortably in the kitchen that you just barged into. We get Alex and Andrew sitting and reading once again the I Love Republicans pop-up book.
Yes, and now they're reading about Nixon, my favorite president.
Right. All about Nixon and the comparison between Nixon and the Grinch.
Yeah, until the 2000s, political humor on TV wasn't very biting.
Nope. And now we get Simon bursting in his tuxedo. So it's the night of. It is the night of the big sophomore dance.
You know what's interesting? If I may, it just occurred to me. Frost Nixon was a play that was adapted into a film and directed poorly by Ron Howard.
That's correct.
And then The Grinch was a classic cartoon film on TV, and it was adapted poorly by Ron Howard. So The Grinch and Nixon, they have a long-standing relationship.
They do. They're both 2 degrees separated from Ron Howard. Wow. I like Frost Nixon, though. I like both of their performances. I think are terrific.
Their performances are what make it, but I'm sure the play is a lot better.
Yeah, they sort of kind of let them both chew the sets, and that's pretty delicious to watch.
Yeah.
Michael Sheen. I had Michael Sheen's daughter in my class.
Really?
His daughter with Kate Beckinsale.
Wow, that's amazing. I didn't realize he and Kate Beckinsale were married or together or whatever.
They were never married. They were longtime boyfriend, girlfriend, and now co-parents of Lily.
Wow. Who's he dating now? I forget.
Sarah Silverman, now long time.
Paris Hilton?
Sarah Silverman.
Oh, that makes more sense.
That's right, folks. For those of you confused, Paris Hilton, blonde, lightweight heiress. Sarah Silverman, delightful Jewish comedian.
And both are currently dating Michael Sheen. It's crazy. Yeah.
I have my connection to Sarah Silverman, however, is, and I didn't know this until years later. Her sister is a rabbi in Israel, Sarah Silverman's.
Oh, okay.
And somehow or another, she found me on Facebook, and she said to me, "Did you by any chance do musical winter theater in Manchester, New Hampshire during the year of the Great Blizzard in the Northeast, and I did indeed do a winter season in Manchester, New Hampshire. She said, me and my sister, who you may be familiar with because she's Sarah Silverman, were children in your production of The King and I.
Stop it. That's amazing.
They're both from Manchester, New Hampshire, and they wanted to be actors and actresses. And she and her sister and I have the playbill. And yes, indeed, I have a playbill that says Sarah Silverman was a child in a production of The King and I that I was in.
Wow. Was she one of the king's daughters and son, like that sort of thing, or what?
Yeah, you know, the March of the Siamese Children.
Wow, that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, because Sarah Silverman has another sister who's also like a comedic actress and writer. It's not the same sister, right?
No, different. It must be a different sister then.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. So Simon's here. Oh, in his tux. Oh, the other joke that I thought was sort of funny. He had a little skywriting joke that he's so in love with Jennifer that he wanted to greet her with skywriting, and they all go outside to look at the sky, and it says "Happy Birthday, Juanita."
Because he saved money.
Yeah, it was on sale. Right.
Now, here's a thing, because it looks like it's nighttime out. They never bring that up. They're like, you got skywriting at night? That would have been a nice joke.
I didn't quite get that, and I saw that too, and I thought, they're looking at the sky at night.
I mean, that seems like an obvious punchline.
It's so weak and so lazy of them not to mention it, that they were looking at that. You could have got a second joke out of it. You know what? Second discount, another discount.
Exactly. That would have been perfect.
Right. Hey, happy birthday, Juanita. Sorry, it was on sale. Great. And what about, it's 7 o'clock. It's sort of hard to see it. Yeah, that was the second discount I got.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm laughing. You're telling it to me and I'm laughing.
And then I took my eye off the screen here. And here's one of those moments where you take the eye off the screen. And then how did Simon go down at the end of the scene? Did he just faint? What went on?
He faints, but at the same time, there's something that I missed myself, is that Jennifer comes down the stairs with the dress on. Again, I thought she looked very cute. And
right.
And the camera pans over because, you know, her Prince Charming is going to see her. And Simon goes, wait, let me put my glasses on. And you're like, why did you take them off? That's what I missed.
Right. Okay. I missed that too. So why did he take his glasses off to begin with that he needed to put them back on again?
It happened off screen. I don't know why. And then, so he puts them on and then he faints dead away.
Because he sees how beautiful Jennifer is? Is that
Yes.
the motivation?
Exactly.
Wow.
Can I just say this? As a couple, the two of them, I thought they looked very good together.
You know, I did too. I thought there was a time here towards the end of the episode where I thought to myself, well, you know what? If they just give him a little bit of a little zhuzh here and a zhuzh there, they'll look great together.
Yes, absolutely. Which I look forward to in our next episode with Simon.
So we cut to the dance, and of course they're just standing around, and Simon wants to know if she wants to dance with him. She of course doesn't want to dance with him. She's really waiting around for Roger to ask her to dance. And then there's a series of "Didn't I beat you up last week?" jokes.
What kind of hellscape is this high school?
And I had a moment thinking about, wow, this kid's being openly bullied by everybody, and girls and boys, as it turns out. And
yeah.
and nobody's saying a word, and we're all in a dance together. Okay.
Now, Corey, did you ever get into a fight in high school?
I've never been in a fight in my life. No.
Me neither.
No. Never.
Yeah, and I would try. I would actively antagonize bullies, and still they would just leave me alone.
So we finally start dancing, or Simon convinces Jennifer to dance, and we've got a moment that I still don't understand. All of a sudden, Simon is Gregory Hines.
I mean, he's closer to Napoleon Dynamite, but yes, Gregory Hines too.
Okay, yeah, maybe I exaggerated. Maybe he's not quite Gregory Hines. He's just Baryshnikov all of a sudden.
Yes. Yeah, and the audience eats it up. Like
Like they've
I
been
don't
waiting for.
this is the funniest joke this audience has ever seen. They went their whole lives living in Omaha, Nebraska, and they were like, you know what? Let's go. We saved up all of our money. We had a good crop this year. And let's go to LA and visit Hollywood. That's where the movies are made. And then they're walking down Hollywood Boulevard, and some young intern goes, "Excuse me, folks, would you like to see how TV gets made?" And they come in, and they just have the best time of their lives when a young boy jumps up and down. And it reminds them of the kid that got kicked by a mule back in Omaha.
Wow. I just, and then we have this really ugly scene between Jennifer and Roger.
Where Roger's a piece of shit.
Roger's a prick. Absolutely. Roger's just a fucking prick. And he immediately lets his prick color show all over Jennifer. And Jennifer is sort of taken aback. She's aghast that oh my God, this hunk is such a prick.
Yes.
And he's basically insulting to Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Like she says, I'm available. And his response is, why would I want to dance with you?
I mean, it is a taste of your own medicine type situation, but it never felt like Jennifer was openly mean to Simon.
No, not at all. And certainly not in front of Roger. And look, he couldn't have been all that mean because of the resolution that's coming up in just a moment.
Yes.
Because if he was that mean, or if they were that mean to each other, it would have really been awful. Anyway, we come to the last scene, and it is exactly the last scene that we've come to know and love from the cookie-cutter writing staff at Family Ties. The minute this scene starts, we get another little taste of B-plot Alex and Andy together. We get a little joke of toddler Republican theater. And then we get Jennifer coming home sad. And you know what's coming up. You know someone's coming in who's rapping at the kitchen door in just a moment or two. But Simon's going to be showing up because Jennifer feels bad. And because she feels bad, Simon shows up and they have their reconciliation scene where we let people off the hook for being terrible human beings.
Yep. Honestly, in this situation, and I give no credit to the writers here, but both of them were jerks. And if they can find a common ground at this point, it feels very real to me for them to apologize and to accept each other's apology.
Absolutely, and to move on. And if that's what happened at the end of the scene, then that may be the only right move that the writers made in the whole episode, was leaving it sort of like, okay, we're back on sort of even ground, even footing. Let's start over again. Maybe we can go out once and see what happens.
Yeah, and again, as real normal people, these two cute kids, I think they would be a nice couple, or at least friends.
And if we slapped a little bit of the nerd off of Simon, he'd be terrific.
Yeah. Why can't that would be they should all have significant others or whatever. Like it would be nice for Jennifer as a character to have someone to bounce off of, in the way that Mallory has Nick. Now Alex has Courtney Cox's character Lauren. It would be nice for Jennifer to actually have someone to share scenes with and stuff. Oh, can I just say, I'm going to look up the credits right now.
Yeah.
But at the dance, all of the kids that were in the background were like amazing dancers.
There was some extra who was trying to pull focus.
She was in like a pink dress, and her dance moves, it was like she was on American Bandstand. Yeah, I was impressed.
Fairly positive that she thought she was going to get like a bump. Maybe she's going to like a SAG voucher out of it.
That is the trick. That is what you try to shoot for.
That's what extras do. They try and get that SAG voucher. Logan now comes back after shooting scenes, and he always comes back and he always goes, I got to show you a couple of these extras who try to suck up to me like I'm giving them the SAG voucher. You know, they try and make friends with the principals.
Yeah.
So he goes, it never fails. There's always a couple of extras who somehow or another end up like hanging with me and Daniel, the other kid who works with all the time. He goes, and it's
That's
like,
amazing.
could you get away from me, extras? Extras, leave me alone.
He should pawn them off on Daniel. Be like, hey, I'm just recurring. This is the guy you want to talk to, and then walk away.
Exactly. I only get 4 episodes. He gets 22.
That would be amazing.
Oh, Lord.
All right. So rate and review our show on iTunes. For questions and comments, email us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at QTWFT for updates. You can follow each of us on Twitter. I'm at Paul Packler.
I'm at Corpep, and Scott's at Follow Jones.
Scott is a friend of ours who also sometimes hosts the show.
Hey, if anybody wants to theorize in advance why he's going to miss next week's show, let us know. Just tweet us and let us know what reason do you think Scott's going to come up with. We'll see.
That's a good idea. We could take everyone's ideas and then put them into a sack, and then we'll draw them, and whoever gets the right one gets a prize.
Lovely.
So you can like our page on Facebook, and we'd like to thank our host and producer, Barbara Dillon, at Fanbase Press. Fanbase Press is a comic book publisher and an online community supporting other creators and fans through daily reviews, interviews, and podcasts that span the pop culture spectrum. Fanbasepress.com. Perry Adams we'd like to thank. She beautifully performs Family Ties and our theme song Without Us. Check out Perry's website, perryadams.com. We'd like to thank Bryant Dillon, who created our fantastic drawing and artwork, as well as edits our show. Bryant, please edit all of that out. Bryant is the president and co-founder of Fanbase Press. Follow him on Twitter at Comic Book Slayer. Finally, we'd like to thank Sean Foster, Fanbase Press's graphic designer, for designing our logo. Gang, we'll see you next week.
La 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 la.
Bye.